Good morning, Father Tabora, for this morning session with my brother-in-law SJ, to know about your vocation story and your leadership. It will help me and also help the young people who are discerning to enter the Society of Cities or any vocation desires that they want to be. So once again, Father, good morning and welcome to this session.
Good morning, Brother Guido. No, it's really a pleasure for me to be here on your podcast, Rolling into the Deep. I understand that's called. That's actually very challenging. So thank you for guesting me today, and let's move on. Let's roll into the deep.
Well, to know more about his life, he's a prominent Jesuit, so he's the president of Elistilo House School of Theology, and
No longer.
no longer, previous. But
you might get into trouble.
but he's also the president of some university schools previously. So actually, he's a very good Jesuit, a prominent Jesuit. So
that's
I'm
what
very
he
happy
says.
So, Father, my first question is, when did you first sense that God was calling you, and what experience helped clarify that call?
Oh my gosh. Well, when I was a young boy, when I was actually an infant, my father was in the diplomatic service of the Philippines. We emigrated to the United States, and so I did my elementary education in the United States in San Francisco. And during those years in San Francisco, I got involved with the Knights of the Altar of our parish, St. Agnes Parish in San Francisco. I developed admiration for the diocesan priests who were there. And that was the beginning of my vocation. I felt called relatively early to imitate the priests who were there. They were very close to the students, they were very close to the community, and I wanted to do something like that. You know? When I turned 12, we returned from the United States to the Philippines. I joined Ateneo de Manila. I went to high school here at Ateneo de Manila. And at that time there was a house called Challenge House. Mm-hmm. It was a forerunner of today's Arvizu House. It was run by Father Gordon, who really was a very challenging man, and he ran that house to nurture young vocations. And it eventually led me to desiring to join the society. You know? But in my third year there, my father didn't want to pay for me anymore because he said, "You're too young." And he said, "Go out and get a girlfriend first." So I told Father John Gordon, I said, "My father won't pay for me anymore." And I thought Father Gordon would say, "Oh, don't worry about payment, just stay here." But he said, "Your father don't pay, you go home." And so I packed my things. The car came for me to take me home. But before I left, Father Gordon told me, "Don't forget, you have a vocation." So that eventually, you know, brought me to experiences. I satisfied my father's desire to mature more, to get a girlfriend, but eventually through a retreat at Angona Retreat House, I listened to a homily by Father Raymond Goff, and that was the homily which convinced me to join the society in 1965, long ago.
Father, did you follow your parents' instruction to get a girlfriend? But did you get it at the time, in the college time?
Well, I did. I did. I actually fell in love, and it was a very genuine relationship, which lasted maybe a year and a half or something like that. But then after this retreat that I mentioned earlier, I felt called.
Mhm.
So on December 8th, 1964, I handed in my application to the society. And then I was feeling very dramatic. I went to a pig farm, and I was helping out with the education of
Mhm.
some of the workers there who all came from Sapampalay. And when I came back on December 23rd of 64, I met with my girlfriend.
Mm.
And I was totally insensitive because it was close to Christmas, and I said, I'm joining the Society of Jesus.
I don't want to fall into temptation.
So my relatives were not happy with that. They said, you should have been more considerate. No? Anyway, that led to my entrance into the society in that year on, what was it, July 16th of that year.
So how was the feeling that you did not consider your girlfriend at the season of Advent? Was there a feeling of regret or sad?
Well, I certainly
Lost?
I certainly considered her, and it was as I said, as far as I can judge, it was a genuine relationship, and we're still rather close now. Although she's married, and we still look back at those days and we laugh. And but I just felt that the discernment was right, and that God was calling me for a different life. And so I joined Sacred Heart Novitiate July 16th of the following year.
So what was the reaction of your girlfriend at the time? Did she like allowed you, or did she?
I don't think she had much choice because we didn't discuss it. I just announced it, and that was a little bit heartless on my part, no? But she accepted it. She accepted that it's a little bit hard to compete with a vocation.
That's right.
So, being very kind, she let go, and I was allowed to pursue my vocation. No?
It was a beautiful story, no. But what I like is like now you're still remembering and still close to one another. No, I think that's really relationship all about, diba, Father? Relationship meant to be like continuous. Even we chose different ways, but relationship is still.
That's right.
It's a family,
That's right. Christian vocation is vocation,
That's
and
right.
we're all, as Christians, called to different
That's right.
roles. When I was in high school, I was editor in chief of a newspaper, and following me was somebody whom I considered a rival. Well, she eventually married my rival. But as I said, we're still friends,
Friends,
and we can look back on those days and laugh.
So it was God's perfect plan for you, di ba? So Father, my next question is, what challenges or doubts did you face while discerning your vocation? How did you overcome them as you went through all these stories that you said earlier?
Well, doubts. The intervention of my father, basically telling me that you're too young, to make these decisions. I was all of 17 at that time. Really opened me to consider another way of life. And when Father Gordon, who was running Challenge House, said, "You go home, you go home. But remember, you have a vocation." It really made me think. And when I joined Ateneo de Manila, after graduation from high school, I joined college. I joined management engineering at that time. It was one of the Ateneo de Manila's new courses at that time. At that time, I really thought that I could pursue a career in management engineering, and I had close friends. You know, uh, uh, it was there was good esprit de corps in the class, but eventually this retreat came, and things happened.
So like retreat is the your guidance, no? It will helps you to decide, no, whether to the family life or to the vocation as a priesthood, no?
Yes, it was certainly, in my recollection, it was the determining factor.
Factors.
Because uh, Father Raymond Goff, he was sort of a fire and brimstone preacher. He was very dynamic, passionate. But I remember he at that time started talking about statistics. How many priests there are for 10,000, 20,000 Filipinos, and how can one priest take care of so many? I found those statistics rather telling, challenging, and and uh, and he had a statement like, we're all called to be happy with our Lord forever in heaven. So get to heaven as soon as possible. Join the society.
It's a good persuasive, nothing.
A little bit naive, but for me at that time, it was convincing.
Convincing. So yeah. So
I've since moved away from those arguments.
so who were the people or the events that influenced or supported your vocation as journey?
Well, certainly my mother. My mother was supportive all the time, and in his own way, my father. Because when I finally told my father, "Dad, I've done what you've said, and now I've come to a point where I think it's clear to me I want to be a Jesuit." My father sat me down and he said, "Son, there is no more noble vocation than becoming a priest. And so now that you've thought about another way of life and you've discerned alternatives, you have my blessing."
Wow.
But there was somebody else in my life who was really very important, and I'd like to mention this because although not directly, very indirectly, she's critical in my vocation. And her name was Akwai. She was a Chinese ama in our family. At that time, families sometimes had helpers from Hong Kong who came over, and they would help mothers to raise children. So she was an ama whom I became very close to and who traveled with us to the United States. And she was the one who taught me serious disciplines when I was a child: how to clean the floor, how to wash dishes, how to wash clothes, things like that. So, but she was incredibly religious, and she had a devotion to Kuan Yin, the goddess of mercy. And every morning she would take a joss stick, light the joss stick, and put it outside the window because my mother didn't allow it to be burned in the house. And until that joss stick burned down, she would be on her knees in prayer. And that for me was very impressive as a child, to see that kind of devotion. And when in grade school, the nuns said, if you know somebody who is not a Catholic, try to convert that person, because otherwise that person may end up where God does not want that person to end up, you know. And so I was afraid for this woman whom I love, and I said, Akwai, don't you think, you know, wouldn't you want to become a Catholic? Wouldn't you want to become a Christian?
Mhm.
And her answer was, Joel, you have your God, I have my God. You pray your God, I pray my God. In the end, the same.
Same God.
No? In the end, the same. You pray for me, I pray for you. God is good, you know. And that was a witnessing to a God of mercy and a universal God that has accompanied me and continues to accompany me in my life as a Jesuit Christian. So, of course, there's only one church, but our God is a God for everyone. You know?
So, Father, so do you convince that God's calling upon us is direct and indirect? So, is it how you feel that way?
I certainly think so. The experiences of God that we have are always mediated. No, I mean they're direct and indirect. And every time we have an opportunity to enter into prayer, enter into a one-to-one conversation with the Lord, that's a very direct experience. But all of those direct experiences are mediated by our experience of students, of teachers, of people in the world, people who believe and who do not believe, people who sin and do not sin. So all of our direct encounters with the Lord are mediated by these experiences. Just as they are in reverse, also mediated by how we experience the Lord personally.
So, Father, how has responding to your vocation changed the way you understand yourself and your mission in life now, Father?
Well, it's when I joined, one of my interviewers asked me, "Why do you want to join the Society of Jesus?" I said something like, "You know, we're all supposed to go to heaven, and joining the Society of Jesus is the fastest way to get to heaven. No detours, no marriage, just go straight." No? I mean, he said, "Oh, you're very good in logic," but it was very naive, of course, at that time. No? In the meantime, there was the novitiate experience of God in the novitiate, the novitiate experience of liturgy, which was more meaningful at that time, especially the novitiate experience of the spiritual exercises, no, which I think was very crucial in my maturing as a Jesuit. I think in time, because of the Vatican II, because of the different general congregations that we have had, my desire to be a Jesuit and to remain a Jesuit was mediated by the various insights the Society of Jesus as a whole had into its mission. No longer just the propagation of the faith, but the propagation of the faith that does justice, that's sensitive to cultures, that engages in interreligious dialogue, that is concerned for the environment, and so on and so forth. I was privileged to be part of General Congregation 34, and just the experience of a general congregation where you have such a large group of competent Jesuits, humbly discerning to understand more deeply what the mission of the Society of Jesus is, and what therefore the mission and vocation of each of us uh, are. This was very influential for me in my life, and colored the manner in which I handled myself in the various major assignments that I had at San Jose Seminary, at Loyola School of Theology, at the Ateneo de Naga University, at the Ateneo de Davao University.
So, Father, have you ever experienced in your life that you feel spiritual dryness, desolations, that you ask yourself, am I in the right place or am I in a wrong place? And if it is so, what is the your coping mechanism to overcome of these challenges that you experience?
Well, you're talking about these indirect experiences. So yes, Ilo, I mean, there have been many challenges in my life. My own experience of my own brokenness in my life, my own experience of sin, my own experience of not having kept my proper boundaries. No, my desire for love, my desire for affection, uh, not all of which would have fit into the idea of a vowed Jesuit. These are all part of these have been all part of my life, and how do you cope with that? With a lot of desolation, dryness, with confessors, with people who are willing to walk with you, with people who are willing to talk with you, with people who are willing to assure you that your experiences are, while your experiences, not necessarily uncommon, and who are able, therefore, to direct you to a deeper fidelity to your calling as a Jesuit. So those crises come. I don't think we have to go into detail. Those crises have been there. Even in the way you run a university. No? Sometimes the university is very much in the world, in the sense that if you are running a university, you really have to take care of finances, you have to take care of personnel, you have to take care of regulatory necessities that come from government, how to keep your school alive and things like that. There's a lot of pressure and therefore a lot of movement away from why you are in that apostolate at all. And that, in my experience, was also an experience of desolation, of having been drawn away from what is central to our lives as Ignatian leaders. No? And I'm just happy that when those crises came, there were people I could talk to, people in the community whom I could talk to, other Jesuit leaders who had gone through similar problems. They were there. And that, I think, was part of God's providence and part of God's guidance in my life.
So, Father, we come to the end. So, what message and encouragement you would like to share with the young people who are discerning their vocation, Father?
Oh, what I'd say is, if I were to have to do it again, I would do it again. No, I think, however, it is really important to discern whether God is calling you, and to discern that call through an opening of your mind and your heart to the way the world is today, and to the way God seems to be working in the world today, and to whether you might be called to be playing a part in God's dealing with the world today. Our world has really gone topsy-turvy. There's a lot of challenge in the world today, both on the level of personalities, of personal sin, but also in terms of global sin. The world doesn't seem to know where it is going. You know, the former hegemons of the world are turning inward, and the unipolar world has become a multipolar world, and there's a lot of questioning. But I think that in this uncertainty, God is talking to us, and God is still looking at the world and saying, I want to be with this world. Emmanuel, the message of Christmas. I want to be incarnate in this world. And I think if young men feel that they're being called, if they discern that they are being called to be part of God being with this world, to giving it direction and meaning, it would be wonderful if they could say yes.
So thank you very much for your wonderful experience that you have shared with me in this channel. It really helps me and help other people, especially the young people who are discerning life, and also for the people that who are. I mean, like life is not only called to be a priesthood, but also called to be a family, parents. So thank you very much for this experience, for your knowledge and your wisdom. That really helps a lot then people to realize that actually God has a plan for each one of us as long as we remain open to Him always.
My pleasure, Ilo. Continue to row into the deep.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.